All right, y'all. It's your favorite time of the week, and welcome to the Childish Grownups show. I am one of the hosts, Marius Hunt III. I am not alone. I'm here with both our wonderful hosts. You know, last week Ash was on leave, but she is back in this thing. She bike. So Ash Bash's bike, and also Mia G holding it down. She is also with us again. Ladies, how y'all feeling getting into our Mother May I month?
I'm feeling good. I'm happy to be back. I missed you both, and I definitely tuned in to the TGIF. It was hilarious. Very fun episode. I'm glad I was able to at least, chime in from audio. But yeah.
I'm making it. It's been a very busy few couple of days. This past weekend, the week my daughter's spring break has come to a close. She's going back to school. It was Mama C's birthday.
Mama say.
Happy
Yeah,
birthday.
the OG baddie. Um,
You know, we got your back like chiropractic.
and yeah, it's just been like had a lot going on. Super duper tired, but good.
Okay, good. And I'm feeling good as well. Look forward to doing this and had a awesome time. That I would probably say that's probably our best TGIF so far. I think we dug deep and there was a lot of surprises throughout that episode, and I really enjoyed it. I love talking television. I love picking at each other's brains and stuff like that. So um, yeah, so I'm doing well as well. So for the new listeners, this is how the show is laid out. You like to get it out the way in the front. So if you figure out if you want to subscribe and keep listening, here's the layout of the show. Because people will see the title of the movie and not know what the show is. And they're like, when are they going to get to the movie? It works like this. We treat our podcast just like our movie theater experience. You're going to go in, you're going to get some popcorn, you're going to play a little video games, you're going to hang out with some friends, you're going to get to the theater, you're going to have some previews, and then finally you get into your featured presentation. That is how we treat this show. We do a little bit. We do a little bit of trivia. We do a little bit of different segments before we get into our featured presentation. So y'all bear with us, hang in there, and get your nostalgic fix. So, with that being said, let's get into it. So we got to acknowledge our stoop kids. For y'all, if y'all want to be a stoop kid, you want to be a aficionado, y'all can reach out to us. childishgrownups3@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment on YouTube, as most people have. So, Ash, man, there's this person on YouTube that looks like you, that's impersonating you, that left a comment. It's from Ash Johnson, 32.
Whoa. What'd she say?
Is this AI right now? It says, uh, oh man, I got it. I got the wrong setup here. Hold up, real quick. Well, I'll come back to it while I'm getting that put together. But Public Enemy B says, finished the 100 a couple of years ago and fully agree with you on Clark Griffin. Thank you. I was like, bro, I could not remember her name, but Clark Griffin. Well, I kept saying the blonde lead on it, but he got it right. Clark Griffin. He says, early on, I thought she was cool and doing what she needed to do, but as it continues, it's apparent how much of an issue she caused and could have helped prevent. Then he also says, happy belated birthday, Mo and little Mia. Happy birthday, Mama C. Oh, man, come on, dog. Thank you, bro. Hey, people don't have to say happy birthday. Like, you're not, you don't have to do that. Anything y'all want to say to those comments there? I know y'all probably both haven't watched the 100, but
Yeah, we
Thanks for the
appreciate
birthday
it.
love. Yeah.
okay, yeah.
It's
Public
good to
Enemy.
see him back in the comments.
A-
He's been gone for a while, so it's nice to see his name pop back up.
Absolutely. Now the Ash Johnson 32 says, okay, so Joan was awful. Now how crazy is this? Joan was awful. Black Mirror. Come on. I don't even think this Ash watches Black Mirror. But
Oh my gosh.
ain't that crazy? Yeah.
And then she was in Black Mirror this season, but like her soul.
You see, come on. Come on. The connection is in effect. That's crazy. But she said Joan was awful at times, but how she did Brock, no, how she did Ellis. We couldn't remember dude name, the actor,
Yeah.
aspiring actor, but Ellis. How she did Ellis. LOL. She cheated on him for Brock, and Brock didn't want children, so it was never gonna work. So obviously, since our co-host Ash, she got active in the comments. So Ash, elaborate a little bit more on your feelings with that whole scenario, because I know you was
I
screaming
mean,
through
I
the
was a
phone.
listener, and I am the co-host, but I was a listener at this, so I'm chiming in. But you had said you was like the way she did Brock was crazy. So when you said that, I was like, what? What she do to Brock? Other
Don't,
than,
don't don't act like she had this man making U turns over and over, bro.
I mean, she's just Joan, bro. Like she's crazy. Of course she did that, but nah, man, you were just overselling it. I'm like, all right, now. So I had to chime in.
Yeah, okay. What you think, Mia? She did Ellis worse than Brock.
She did Ellis bad for sure, but she did Brock bad too. I feel like she did all this and she was so determined to get him to marry her. She wanted to get married so bad. She finally gets the ring, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, but now I want to have children. Ugh. Girl,
You know, she wanted kids.
okay, she should have had that conversation before she begging
Exactly.
that man for a ring.
I think they both should have. I think they both obviously just jumped in too quick. Y'all didn't have the real conversation. I think they were infatuated with each other
Mm-hmm.
and they missed a lot of steps.
That definitely is getting active. You know what I mean? That blinds you at times. Um, um, yeah. So yeah, we thank y'all for that, man. Well, I'll respond to Public Enemy B. It is like Ash said, good to see you back in the comments. I know he's active at another week in the books, and he just follows all of us Avengers in this podcast space, so to speak. But yeah, man, that Clark Griffin, bro. She might be top 10. Like she's got to be somewhere close to Joffrey. Like I can't stand Clark, bruh. Anyway, that's another subject. We already had our TGIF. Y'all stay tuned. Hopefully, we'll get another TGIF this month. But yeah, this is our Mother May I month, so y'all stay tuned as we transition into our childish grown up moments. Ash Bash, you got something for us?
I don't. I'm so upset at myself. I'm like, man, I even asked my husband, I said, did we do anything childish this weekend? Like, I feel like I haven't been being as childish as I normally get to be lately.
Yeah.
And so I was really trying to think, like, did I do anything? But I couldn't think of anything. And I want to be as authentic as possible. So I don't have anything this week.
Mm. Mia G.
Okay. So I don't know if this is childish necessarily. However, I went to my first college like fraternity probate show this past Friday, and I was like, had me feeling like a little young girl, a little young college girl. I went with, I took my little sisters, um, and their best friend, who's like my adopted little sister, who goes to our university, UC, and they had like the first pro show for the Kappas at UC who were, away for a while. And so it was like a huge deal. And we went, it was me, my little sister who's 22, and my little sister who's 17. And it was just so much fun. Like I was having the time of my life. It was just felt like it get brought back like those old college memories. And my little sister's like, oh, I can't wait to go to college. And it just is like it made me feel youthful. I almost forgot until, being out all night with the youngsters and I woke up and my hip was hurting. But,
Oh no,
you
not the
know,
hip.
but I was like, oh, okay, auntie's outside.
Hey, you gotta be out. You gotta pop up every once in a while. Show 'em. You know what I mean? For real. Like you know what I mean? Until I'm just too old to do this. I gotta still feed that youthful juice. You know what I mean? I feel that.
Okay. Okay. I did one thing. I don't know if it's childish. Y'all tell me. So, yeah, you get in a relationship, you kind of end up being a homebody and stuff. So I was like, it was probably about 9:30 p.m. I said, I'm finna act like I'm finna go out. And we hadn't discussed it or nothing. So I was like, I'm finna take a shower. I put a dress on that he's never seen. It was like a one
Oh,
shoulder.
so this is a
I was,
prank?
yeah, I was like, I'm just finna see what he does. So I so I put a dress on, one strap. I'm just fiddling around, and he was like in the loft, and I walked past, act like I'm going to get my coat out the closet. Walk back to the room. I'm in the closet. I turn around. He at the door. He like, where we finna go? I was like, we're not going anywhere. I'm finna head out. He was like, where are you going? Where that? I'm like, I'm finna just go try to get me a little drink or something. I just want a frozen daiquiri. And he was just looking at me like, you're not going anywhere. I said, no, you watching Anthony. So this is a solo trip. This not we tonight. It's just me. He's like, so what's the first spot you go hit? And that's how he know, because I don't know no spots. I just be like,
Oh.
I'll meet some friends, they'll probably show me some good spots for a good drink. And he just cracking up. He thought it was hilarious. I was putting the jewelry on and everything.
Ash,
Like,
But did you
bro.
go anywhere?
didn't make it out the door. No,
Me and G,
didn't
listen,
make it out.
this is new to me. I've never heard of this from my sister, bro. What
Hey,
in the world? The dedication. I have so many questions that I probably don't have time to ask. Like this is mind blowing right now. Like the dedication to say on a freestyle, like on some like, yeah,
yeah.
I'm about to just get this off the sea. Like I'm just trying to get to the garage and get to the car just to make, like this is
Mm-hmm.
crazy. How did you get here, bro?
I was just like, finna act like I'm finna go out. And
You
I knew
know,
he hadn't seen this dress. So I was like, I gotta put this dress on.
Don't
And I
play
already knew.
no, now this is childish. No, this definitely childish. Like pranking.
Hey,
This is absolutely. This is adolescent fun right here.
the good perfume on, everything.
Oh my god, I can't wait to holler at T. I can't wait to get his side.
Don't play with her.
Oh
It
man,
was a good time. It was a good time.
dang that's funny. Only been even funny if it was like April 1st, bro. Like if you got
I
it off
know.
like then. Wow, I got follow up questions out off air, so don't worry about it. um, my child is grown up. Actually, I got a couple of them, but one of them I'll leave off for now because I bought this classic cereal that I wasn't familiar with. And it was based off a cartoon that came out in 1964. So,
Mm.
but I was gonna bring the box, but since we're now in real time, I'll let it marinate. But the other childish grown up moment is actually on Saturday. My church, we had a church picnic or whatever. So we all had the t-shirts, matching t-shirts. I did the graphic design or whatever. We all had the matching t-shirts, and we had people just like in the community coming through, and we grilled some on the hot dogs, burgers, and stuff like that. But bro, it took me back to when we were kids and we used to have those like explosions at churches,
Mhm.
like where
Mhm.
like you might, because for me more than anything, when it came to the explosions as a kid, I was just trying to meet a cute girl, and I did meet a cute girl, and I'll never forget this. Ironically enough, her name was Ashley as well, and I met this cute girl, and I was so into her, and she was very attractive. I remember, and she broke my heart. She was in the bubble, our brother. And
Oh.
the fact that he don't even that's not the team he plays for, it still burns me up inside. I mean, at that time, you still try to figure it out, but like I did not for the life of me, I couldn't understand. Like she definitely curved me. It's like, no, I like him. I'm like, what? You know, I'll never forget that. But those explosions was like huge. Like, of course, they trying to preach the gospel and all that. But us teenagers, the little kids, whatever, we trying to play outside. We trying to get some snacks. We somewhere else. And so us doing the picnic this year, it took me back to like the explosions we used to have. We didn't go to a bunch of them, but like I remember a
Mhm.
specific explosion, and Yeah, I think she might have played a different tune around Granddaddy's funeral though. I remember coming back and it was a little different. But anyway, say less. But yeah, that is that is our childish.
You're nuts.
This is hey, I can't make this up. I'm just saying like things were different. I had got my superpower at that point, and it was different, you know.
Okay.
But anyway, enough about me. That is our childish grown up moments. Y'all want to reach out to us, childishgrownups3 at gmail.com. Hit us up on Instagram, childish grownups. Also YouTube, whatever, man. Hey, Public Enemy B, Mama C, y'all give us, if y'all got a childish grown up moment, I will be very interested. We love y'all reviews, no doubt. But I'll be very interested, y'all being intentional throughout the week and say, like, yo, I'm about to have a real immature moment for the fun of it. Y'all reach out, give us something. I would love to do that. Just like Ash, just freestyle pranking, you know, the hubby, you know what I mean? Like, come on with it. Like, I want to see what's up because we want to create this kind of fun boost and positive energy because we really need it in these times that we live in. So y'all do that and give that to us. So Ash.
Yes, sir. It is time for the Flash with Ash. So, just a couple fun facts and some this or that snack edition. So, 2001, sexiest man and sexiest woman. Sexiest man was Pierce Brosnan, and he
James
was
Bond.
James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the sexiest man in 2001. I don't know how I feel about it. I think he's a handsome guy. Sexiest? I don't know.
Well, did you look up anybody else in 2001 like mainstream?
Because I usually give like top 5, but
yeah, that'd be good because I'm thinking. I mean, obviously we know him from the '64 James Bond. Like he's the cover.
He is handsome. I don't know who else was
Here's wait. What was you gonna say, Mia? Before I asked,
we did Mrs. Doubtfire. I told y'all he was fine. He was fine.
Oh, that was him. That was you're right. That was him.
Oh, it was.
Yeah,
that was him.
Good looking guy.
Now hold on.
I'm not mad at it.
Who you prefer, him or the other guy that was sexiest man that was in what was it, Pretty Woman?
For him. Pierce.
Richard Gere?
Yeah, Richard Gere or Pierce Brosnan.
I'd have to go with Pierce.
Okay.
Yeah, I got Pierce. And the woman, bro, was J-Lo. Which I know you're like.
I think I got it right.
You're never mad at J-Lo being
I'm never like, what are we gonna debate? Like, I mean, unless there was like somebody in the culture, you know, that was like, you know.
Right. Oh, J-Lo's very beautiful, so
yeah, she had it, but
it.
I got some hot takes about her. But when we get to a film, maybe somebody will, maybe Monster-in-Law might come in the mix. Who knows?
Listen, I love a J-Lo film. I'm one of her like J-Lo film stans.
Me and you, we almost linked up with school when we did Enough. Like I had notes and everything.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure one of her movies, or maybe more than one of her movies, will come up eventually.
I think so. I do got one movie in mind that she plays in but I don't know what the category would be. But there's a movie that I really want to review because I really like this movie. So, but we'll see if it happens.
Okay. So this or that snack edition. Gushers or Fruit Roll-Ups? Both give you that sticky.
I love them both. But I have to go with Fruit Roll-Ups.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta go Fruit Roll-Ups. You know, the Gushers, it's on the package, but I didn't get consent.
I knew it was coming. No pun intended.
Oh,
no pun intended.
I wasn't prepared for
the explosion.
Yeah, the explosion was a little more than I expected, and there's no way to gauge it. So for those reasons, I'm going Fruit Roll-Up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, hey,
we are grown-ups.
Yeah, I know I'm stupid. Look, she like, you grew up with him.
I got fruit roll-ups as well. I'm not a fan of the explosions either, so I like fruit roll-ups because it's just like you could play with it, you could eat a little bit. I don't know, it's just
Yeah, yeah. You could tear it
and it
off. You
feels
could roll it up and
yeah.
chew it. You know, yeah,
You can make like you make things,
yeah.
So I think it's more fun with fruit roll-ups.
Okay.
You okay, Mia? Don't mind us.
She didn't. She's like, I did not see that coming. What in the world is wrong with your brother? What's wrong with this guy?
Butterfingers
Oh no, I
or
listen. I listen to the podcast roll, so I know that you got
Oh
oh
no,
wow.
I forgot about that. Oh
Mo's
man.
a wild boy.
Oh no, I forgot. See, that's the mistake of trying to promote your stuff, and then you forget people
uh,
get got some inside info on you. You like, damn, I forgot. I'm like out in the public somehow. Damn.
that's why it's hard for me as the sister to listen to roll, even though it's good. I'm like, bro, I do not want to hear this,
I
bro.
know. That's
Oh,
why I told you. I said you
oh,
ain't.
oh.
I had told her to check out. I said, yeah, you probably would. But like this last season, I'm like, you be good. This last season, you'll be straight.
No,
And
yeah, I'm on season 4, but that 1 through 3, I was clutching my pearls.
well, I was building the formula. You know, I'm building the formula. Like, there's
I mean,
certain
you're playing the
beats.
characters,
Yeah,
so
I'm
it's
building
yeah.
certain beats. There's this element of the show, this element of the show. So I got to build those beats. And so,
No, good work, good stuff. But
thank you. She said collection of. You hit it with the
Butterfingers,
the Weebay joint.
Butterfingers, or Chico sticks.
Butterfinger.
Yeah, I gotta definitely go to Butterfingers.
Who want Chico, man? I love Chico sticks
You
growing
was
up.
Big
Like
Chico.
I
Can I throw?
love that crunch.
I do like Chico stick. Like you know what would be to me? I got a couple of things. You know, a better comparison for me is the Chico stick or what's the zebra joint, the little small zebra
Oh,
crunchy
my
joint,
favorite. Yeah, with the line wrapper, the
the
zebra,
stripes on it. Hold on, I'm gonna find
so
it real
good.
quick. Mia know what I'm talking about
I
when
don't think I've ever had one of those before.
you know what I'm talking about though.
How you even type it in? Like
I
candy
got it right here.
wrapper, like
It's called. Look, somebody even literally put. Hold on, I'm gonna throw it right here in the chat. Mia. All right.
it's so good. Like I'm
Nah,
gonna
that's
eat
what I'm
those
saying.
today. Like
All right, it's in the
they
chat
dang
now.
near unbeatable for real.
Now, do you got this or the Chico?
Oh, I've never had one of those before.
Ah, damn.
Yeah, these are fire.
If we ever meet in person, like we gonna have to like we probably gotta get you. We gotta get you at least one of these, like type of thing.
Yeah.
I would if not. You know what we do? Me and Ash, we do. We send like we be fake YouTubing. We just send it to each other. We be reviewing snacks, and it's kind of a fun. It literally is just a fun thing. So maybe we could start our own version of that in the CGC chat where we like, oh, I got this new snack. We're gonna do a quick review and we send it in there. So maybe I don't know where you will find it. You might find it at Dollar Tree, maybe.
It
Maybe.
might be at like like the dollar stores always have the random candy or like corner
hmm
stores random like
Yeah, it's down there in the
candy
hood.
stores there
It's
too.
definitely in the hood for sure. This is a hood snack.
Seen them in a while, so I don't even. I feel like Dollar Tree might still be having them.
You got to really
Maybe
look though. It's got to be a Dollar Tree in the hood though, because I got a good Dollar Tree and they ain't.
they hit.
Yeah.
Okay. Flaming hot Doritos or spicy nacho Doritos?
Mm,
I gotta go flaming hot Doritos, flaming hot everything.
I'm gonna go spicy nacho Doritos because that's like my favorite Dorito.
Mm.
I flaming hot Dorito, I almost don't even consider it. I feel like flaming hot is just a category. So outside of flaming hot, I would almost say spicy nacho might be the best Dorito.
I think spicy nacho Doritos are my favorite. Then I like Tapatio Doritos, but they don't have those everywhere. It's like
Those are good.
Do you like the barbecue?
I'm not a
Dang.
huge fan of like barbecue
I'm not
dips
either, but those the
unless it's
Doritos.
Grippos.
Oh, okay. The Grippos is Yo, you took it back. The Grippos.
I'm
Yo,
a
I might have to
Cincinnati
cop.
girl.
We coming back to Indy. I need the Grippos. I'm coming back to Indy, and I'm getting some Grippos. Yeah, I got.
Salty though to me, like
I grew up on Grippos, so
And what's that fluffy? There's a fluffy plain chip. What is them chips? You know what I'm talking about, Ash? When I think Grippos, I think about it's not Vintners. I, of course, remember the Vintners brand,
mhm.
but there's this puffy. I'll find it anyway. I don't want to hold you up on. Let me just find it. I
um
guess.
I want spicy nacho as well because you can eat them more on the regular. That flaming hot, sometimes you get a super hot bag and it'll take
That's
you
true.
out of there.
It can, yeah.
Spicy nacho, I can make me some taco salad, eat it with popcorn. Like I kind of be doing everything really with a chip, but so yeah, I'm gonna go spicy nacho. But the flaming I do like those, but they can get
Yeah, it
up
can get
there.
busy.
the spicy
All right.
nachos with some chipotle.
Ooh,
Ooh.
you know what's next. Just you know what's
Hmm.
next. That's all I'm saying. You know what's next.
Smarties or sweet tarts?
Ooh,
Hmm. Hmm. Oh, that's a tough one. I love Smarties.
I gotta go Smarties, man. Like sweet tarts are good too. They're a little bit more bigger, a little bit more packed for your flavor, but it's something about the Smartie joints. Like it's perfectly packaged. You untwist the sides and you just enjoying every little. You pace yourself. You're not about to just throw all of them in. You're pacing yourself, eating them. Like yeah, bro. Like the Smarties is them ones. Like I don't like how lately people been like down and them talking about they taste like chalk. Like knock it off. The
Right.
Smarties is still they still get busy. Like as a grown up, I take you take your kids to trick or treat, and they might look at it and leave it there. I'm like, hey, let me get that off you. I'm still getting busy with the. Yeah, come on, man. I don't like how they've been doing them lately, but yeah, I gotta go Smarties.
I think I'm gonna go with Smarties too. Like I like sweet tarts, like tart
Mm-hmm.
flavors and like those like bold flavors. But I can't eat them all the time the way I could like eat Smarties all the time.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I like different variations of sweet tarts. Like I like sweet tarts ropes and like the,
You
you
said
know,
sweet tarts rope.
yeah. You
Hold
ever had
up.
sweet tart ropes?
I know about nerds rope, sweet tart
Oh,
rope.
come on, man.
Yeah,
Throw
I
it.
have
Hey, you got
those.
to throw that in the chat.
About to
Come
put it
on,
in the
like
chat.
I don't know. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, I
But
don't like those.
Hmm.
I had them before. I don't like that filling in there. I don't know.
I like it.
Something about fillings for me. Like,
You know what,
I,
y'all on my nerves today.
look, she like already. We ain't even started the movie review. All right, I gotta go Smarties as well for all the reasons y'all just said. I mean, you can say Indian style. You just enjoying your little Smarties.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm not a tart fan. Like, I like tart here and there, but like the roof of the mouth, you know, get too raw for me on that, that sweet tart. So I'm cool with that. I'll go with the Smarties. Um, and last but not least, are we doing white Tic Tacs or green Tic Tacs? And this ain't really a snack. This more so, just
No,
getting
but
your
it's
breath
serious.
right.
It's serious though.
Yeah, you know what I mean. We finna meet and greet. It's important. Like we got to get right.
I've always been a white Tic Tac girl.
Okay.
Huh.
I'm
You
talking dark green. I'm not talking wintergreen. Not that teal,
Oh
because
no, okay.
that's
I like the dark green.
oh sweet tart ropes. I like those. I rock with those. I've had that before. Yeah, I like them.
mm,
Um,
Nothing wrong with filling.
anytime you go spearmint, it's difficult. What? Am I missing something? What?
nope,
Oh, okay. This
not
this
at
is this is
all.
a girl connection right here. All right. Uh, I think back in the day, it definitely was white. Like it's definitely white. Tic Tac. Spearmint was such a quiet taste. Whether you going Tic Tac, you going gum, you going mint.
Hmm.
Spearmint. Now I appreciate spearmint. You know what I mean? But back in the day, Yeah, give me that white mint, bro. So yeah, I'm going white Tic Tac.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the white Tic Tac.
I'm going white as well. I'm not a spearmint fan. I hate spearmint. It
Mm.
just leaves me super thirsty after all the time. Like you said, in any form, gum, whatever. It's too strong. Like, and that white gets up there too towards the end, but it's it's a lot more pleasurable
Yeah, yeah, it
until
is.
you gotta finish up. But uh, so yeah, and
Ca-
that's it for the flash for dash.
Hold on, can I throw something in real quick, real quick, real, real quick?
Okay.
You had said Butterfingers, and it made me think about one more this or that. Y'all going Butterfinger BBs
I knew you was
or
gonna say that.
the Crunch bites? You remember the little Crunch bites with the little textures, the little.
Let me look.
Let me. Yeah, I'm gonna pull it.
Big Crunch Bites, like the blue box.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
blue box. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
blue box.
Oh,
Like
that's
you get
legendary. I gotta go
I
movie
Crunch.
gotta go with
theater
the
vibes.
crunch spot. I gotta go with the crunch.
Crunch all day. I still eat those to this day.
But the BBs, I don't know.
I love Butterfinger BBs too. Like I like them. That's hard.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like this is movie theater classics. This is
I've
what
been
our
told
show
that I was
is.
I've been told that I was crazy for liking Butterfingers at all. Like,
I'm not so. I don't know who that person's a crazy person.
hello,
Yeah.
because I'm like,
Like you saying liking it at
they're
all is
good.
crazy. Like what do you mean?
Now I will say this. I feel like Butterfinger BBs didn't really get their fair shake.
They
Like I
did.
don't feel like it was out long. Like I feel like as soon as you was like, oh, these are good. Like I didn't see them no more.
I
Like
know,
I
and
don't know.
they had great promo with the Simpsons.
I used to tear those Butterfinger BBs up.
You remember that Bart Simpson? Like nobody lays a finger on my Butterfinger BBs. Like, bro, that
Hmm.
was serious. Like,
Yeah.
but them crunch,
But I never saw them.
but you're right. But the crunch joints, like I remember them. That is such a movie theater staple, bruh. Because there's some about Krispies, like Mr. Goodbar. Like there's some about
Mm.
Krispies with the chocolate. Yeah, I'm going
I'm
with
all
the.
about a crunch.
I'm all about the crunch. Yeah, I gotta go there. But
I'm a
butter.
raisinette girl too, though.
You're raising that girl. You said
That's my favorite. Yeah.
Love,
I don't think I knew
love,
that.
love,
Yeah.
I
love Raisinette.
hey, raisinets are slept
Yeah.
on.
They're
I'm
my
a
They're so good.
favorite candy ever.
I'm a cookie dough guy. You know the cookie dough box joint. You know the chocolate covered cookie dough. As of recent, hey, you bugging? Like, hey, relax. Nah, but raisinets still get it done. But hey, y'all can throw that dark chocolate up out the way though. Like that's not Ralph though. But all right, that's all I gotta ask. I know you say you was wrapping up Flash Dash. All right, well, uh Mia G, we know what time it is. Now that we back in our movie review, I need you to pull that lever and take us back one time for the one time.
All right, I'm excited about today's film. It was my pick, 2001, Riding in Cars with Boys. A single mother with dreams of becoming a writer has a son at the age of 15 in 1965 and goes through a failed marriage with the drug addicted father. And we have a loaded cast, so I kept it to some really, imperative characters. We have Drew Barrymore as Beverly D'Onofrio slash Hassick, Steve Zahn as Ray Hassick, Logan Learman as Jason at age 8, Adam Garcia as adult Jason, the late great Brittany Murphy as Faye Forrester, James Woods as Mr. Leonard D'Onofrio, Lorraine Draco as Mrs. Teresa D'Onofrio, Sarah
I think
Gilbert.
it's Bracco. Bracco. She's from The Sopranos.
It's a D though.
Mm-mm. That's a Bracco. It's definitely Bracco. I'll pull
Hold
it
on.
up, but keep going. I want to interrupt your.
And Sarah Gilbert as Tina Barr, Peter Fasinelli as Peter Butcher. Wait, hold on. I might have wrote his name down wrong because like I don't think his name is Peter. But moving on. And we have Maggie Gyllenhaal as adult Amelia. And this film was released in October 19th, 2001,
Okay. I'm gonna throw
based
that.
off of a memoir by the real Beverly D'Onofrio.
Eh, okay. Um, we don't have a segment for like characters that were on The Sopranos. Obviously, similar to our big cousins with characters from The Wire, but I know that for sure. Like Lorraine Bracco and her husband. No, not her husband, but the husband on the other side. He also played a character on The Sopranos. But yeah. Um, all right, so I'm gonna go Ash and I'm gonna go Mia G. So Ash, take us back on a rewind. How do you remember this film back then, and then versus how do you remember it now? And if you don't have an experience for it back then we'll fast forward and go into now. So, how do you remember? How did you feel about your initial watch when it comes to this film? And then after that, Mia G will respond because obviously Mia G has experience with this film. This meant a lot in her household.
So this was a press play for me. I thought I might have seen it before, cause I feel like there was a movie with Drew Barrymore where but I thought she had like a bunch of boys, sons. Maybe I'm thinking of a different movie. There was some movie where a mom and she had like three boys and they were like so bad. But once I saw the previews, I was like, no, I haven't seen this. So yeah, this is a press play for me. Um, it was interesting. It was okay. I felt like it was so much going on. Uh, it took me a minute to kind of grasp what was happening until they kind of sat into what the plot was and what was really happening. Um, it was a little strange. It had some dark moments. I mean, it had a lot of complexities to the movie, for sure. So, like I said, even with my note taking, it was kind of difficult to figure out how I want to, what I want to write down, how do I gauge where to go with this film. So, yeah, so that was my initial press play view of this movie.
Hmm.
Okay.
It was hard to grasp.
Mia G.
Well, I grew up watching this movie. It was a favorite of me and Mama C when I was growing up. And watching it as an adult definitely was just as enjoyable for me as it always had been. Of course, I have a different lens now that I'm grown. I have my own kids. I'm a mother.
Feel me?
But I think that there's just a lot of good conversation starters in this movie
Absolutely.
that I don't feel like are talked about enough.
Um, so similar Ash, like this is not a movie that I grew up on, wasn't familiar with, never seen before. This was the first time experience, and watching it first and foremost, I this lines up exactly to who Mia G is. Watching this, I knew I said, "Oh, this makes perfect sense." Like I watched this, and I knew I said, as we continue to keep building this cohesion and learning about each other, the movies kind of speak for who we are. And so watching this, I said, "Oh, I totally get this," because at some point we'll be coming up on 30, 40 films, you know what I mean, of reviews. And so watching this, I said, "Oh, okay, I definitely understand why Mia picked this. I definitely understand how her brain works when it comes to these movies." Um, but the experience for me watching it, it was it wasn't good. This just wasn't a good movie. Um, yeah, it wasn't a good movie. uh, I don't. the thing, the concept was there, but the execution wasn't there.
I might
Um,
need a lot of elaboration
okay.
on that.
Drew Barrymore is not a good lead for this. That's first, because for a couple of reasons. Um, if we never got flashbacks, it was just the adult version. Okay, I believe that. But the fact is, they're supposed to be an Italian family. Drew Barrymore doesn't look Italian, so it's like, what are we doing? Like, she's not clear. Like, she's a redhead. Like, what are we? That's the first thing.
She was a
Uh,
brunette in the movie.
oh, brunette. Okay, brunette, but still, it's like, yeah, you know, Lorraine Bracco and the gentleman that plays the father. We. So it's that it's a few things that, like, well, the execution wasn't there. So for me, it the movie has some themes. It has some great conversational pieces, but I just think I watched it and I was like, I didn't. I like, this is not like, the fact that I think that they could cut an hour off this movie speaks volumes. Like, to tell somebody, hey, you can cut an hour off this, and this is a 2 hour and 11-minute movie. So, and maybe not an hour, but maybe definitely this movie shouldn't have been longer than an hour and 20 minutes. This movie is ridiculously long for no reason.
There's so much that wouldn't have been explored if the movie was shorter. So I want to know what you feel could have been cut out
Okay.
specifically.
So the little girl scene, we get this early scene of like, oh, this is how you kiss a boy, all this. We don't need none of that. We get 5 minutes with that. Take that out. That's probably 5-10 minutes. Cut that out. Um, we get these certain moments, like, they really drag out this scene between, Drew Barrymore or Bev and Jason, where we get too many scenes with him being like a drug addict. We're like, oh, he's gonna give another chance.
Are you mean Ray?
Ray, I'm sorry, yeah, Jason's her son, but Ray, yeah. So it's like, okay, we get it, but they dragging it out. Like, if he's gonna be that, then we can get to that quicker. This movie, it's not that type of movie that needs to be 2 hours and 11 minutes, bro. Like, it's ridiculously long for no reason. Because it didn't, a movie this long, the way the style in which they did it don't fit what they how they execute it. Like, they didn't, like, if a movie is 2 hours 11 minutes long, they're trying to slow build this thing, but y'all didn't do that. Y'all did this flash in and out, flash forward, flash back, and that hurts the film to me. When it's like, if you stay like, okay, we're gonna work our way to the future, there's like, okay, cool, I see how you got there, but y'all doing this flash thing, you don't need 2 hours if you're gonna do that, because you're gonna jump ahead and come back. So for me, it was just, more than anything, it's the execution and the length of the film. It's like, this is not a deep film, but they're trying to make it deep, and it's not. It's a
Oh my God.
it's not deep to me. Like, it's exceptional in the sense that in that time, a lot of films wouldn't keeping it a bean like this. They're talking about, like, which why I believe you picked this movie. Is like, okay, they're talking in the sense that everything's not a happy ending. Everything's not all good. Sometimes this type of shit happens. You know what I mean? That I understand, and I believe that. But in that time in 2001, but as far as it being this long, there's no way I would sit in the theater and watch this movie for this long. It's like, bro, what are we doing? These movies come out in theaters. It's not straight to DVD or Netflix original. These come out in theaters. Like, there's no way I would sit here, eat popcorn, drink a Pepsi in a giant. Like, anyway, it's just, it's crazy. Like, but anyways, so I don't have really any notes for overall discussion, but maybe Mia, since we kind of we're slow building into the film, if you got more questions, how about you throw some stuff out there?
You know, as a cinephile who grew up on these types of movies, watching them a lot with my mom, it was just crazy to me to hear your take on this film, because I just, I guess I just don't see it that way,
Mhm.
which, we all have our experiences and how we like to enjoy film.
Hmm.
I don't know. I have to process.
You know, and I ask you can feel free to jump in. It's not that when we watch films that go outside of our culture, we love a lot of films outside of our culture. But we understand that when we're dealing with these films that are outside of our culture, black culture, um, there's a certain suspension that has to happen as far as okay, there's going to be certain cheesy that's going to happen, but whatever, I'm cool with it. There's going to be a certain maybe corniness that you're going to deal with, like okay, but whatever. Like when we go back to a film like The Notebook, this is definitely outside of the culture. It's definitely got some cheesy moments, got some corny moments, but it has a universal feel to it where it's like, okay, I'm not from that walk of life, but there's some universal themes with this movie. It I didn't feel that. And I think that they had something. I think when we get to the second half of the film, I'm like, why didn't y'all just drive this in the first half? Because when they start really peeling them layers back, I'm like, okay, now we're getting into some real. Okay, the baby daddy is trash. The mother is trying to be a stand up. She got dreams. We got some. The son is trying to be the man of the house. We getting into some real stuff, but it's like we spend so much time doing this quirky, funny thing, and it's like it doesn't resonate for me because I can only suspend so much cheesy and kind of quirky, corny, whatever, and I'm okay with it. I like cheesy, corny, quirky, but this was so far out of my territory. I was like, bro, y'all not willing it in enough. It's too far out. I can't throw my fishing hook that far, and that's kind of what it is. It's like they got something, but it was too far out of my fishing line, and that's why I was like, come on,
And
come
that's
close.
cool because,
Yeah,
like I always say, different strokes for different folks.
yeah.
I do think that for me, and also again, growing up with this film, doing a lot of like backstory
Mm-hmm.
research, watching interviews with the cast and with the writer of the memoir, who it was about, and how they decided to tell her story, and how they filmed it, and who she was as a kid, and how like her relationship with her parents. I felt like all of that was necessary to tell her story because they're setting up like who she was before she got pregnant, like why her parents felt the way they did about how she was before she got pregnant, how she was what in the Black community people might say fast.
Fast.
And she was just really, like it says, and then she was very headstrong. She was ambitious. She was in her head a lot. She had a lot of dreams. She wanted to be a writer. She was dramatic. That was who she was. And then putting the pregnancy into this character and then building off of that with her relationships with those around her, her best friend, her parents, and the dynamic of what was expected of you back then and what she wanted for herself versus what she ended up with. I felt like every piece of it to me was important, especially, and I think that the going back and forth between, I think the whole point, of course, at the beginning, showing grown up Jason and Beverly was how young she was to have an adult child. It was supposed to be like a reveal, like, oh, wow, this is her son. And then you
Mm-hmm.
get the story
Mm-hmm.
of why this young woman and this has this grown son and like the tension between them and where that comes from, going back and forth to how she really didn't even want him in the first place and what that did throughout her life first, not just about Jason, because it's not just about her relationship with him, it's about her relationship with herself, who
Mm-hmm.
she was, what she wanted, and then how he played into her life
Mm-hmm.
and how everything with Ray played into their situation And then as an adult, you see what that did to him. But the beginning of it wasn't really even about him
Yeah, yeah.
and her. It was about her and what the adult Jason represented was how all of that affected him. But the main story is just about how getting pregnant and having dreams and
Mm-hmm.
motherhood did to this young woman
Mm-hmm.
and how it derailed her life, but how she had to kind of reconcile and figure out, how to be a mom
Mm-hmm.
and still, have this part of her that wanted more for herself. And I feel like I've seen it a lot. Like I've watched it a lot of times. And not saying that you would feel different if you had seen it, watch it, more and more and maybe, sit with the characters a little longer. But I've watched this film multiple times over years and the characters really stick with me. Like I feel like I have a stake. Like I've really had times to sit with these characters for a
Who
long time. So
who's likable to you?
I won't even say that it would just because it was likable. I just feel like I like the way the story was told, and you don't like the way they told the story. I feel like
Okay.
I enjoyed the way they
Okay.
told the
And it's
story.
probably a director issue. Like I don't think it was written bad. I think it's the direction in which the director took it. Well, I don't wanna cog up a whole lot. Ash, you got some things you want to say?
Yeah, let me get in there. So I feel like the movie was too long. I feel like when they showed Bev and Jason in the beginning, I had no idea that was her son. And I mean that maybe that's how it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm
There's a
thinking
good
that
little
that's his
twist. Yeah,
girl, you know.
That's
And
what it.
then once that's what they wanted to do.
yeah.
Mhm.
There's a
Oh,
good.
because
That
I'm
was a good
like,
twist.
because I was like you see when she looks young, I'm like, oh well, maybe that's his lady, and she put the spit in his hair is nuts. But uh, but yeah, I think so. It's tough because there was some complexities in here. Like there are some conversation starters for sure. So I did
Mm-hmm.
like that. I'm like, wow, there was some deep stuff in here
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that I can't wait to get into when it comes to Ray and
Oh,
just
oh
a
yeah,
few
yeah.
different things.
Definitely.
And but I feel like they set it up to look like, yeah, like you said, you're just into the boys and so I didn't feel like we really got enough about her. Like, oh, you are ambitious until after Jason was born. Then you're like, you're doing these studies or whatever. Like they
Yeah.
show her working, but this was after the baby was here, so like it wasn't enough time with her to me to really grasp who she was.
Oh,
Like I always saw, the beginning where she's talking about her boobs, and then, y'all get into the party, you're still like seeking male attention, like you and Faye, you know what I mean, getting to it. And so I didn't really get to see the ambition side of you. But it's set up because the way your father views you is like, oh, like, like you say, he had high hopes for her. He has a standard set that he thought she was special and all that. So, but I didn't see that. Like, all I saw was like, y'all hanging out, then you get pregnant, and now we're experiencing you as a 15-year-old with a child and just that journey of there. But I do feel like, well, I don't. That's probably in a later segment, so I can
mm-hmm.
hold off. But that's all I'll say for now, I guess.
Yeah. Anything you want to say from that, Mia?
Oh, I feel like they were trying to show her like her knack for writing through, when she met Ray, him saying she was in the school play, and then she had a when she was trying to get the attention of the one boy, she was writing him poems. And I think it was just like little this and that, and then her writing the letter to her parents when she finds out she's pregnant. I don't necessarily feel like it was about her being super studious. She was just a girl who liked to write, who wanted to go to college. It wasn't like she was just like superstar student, straight A. This is who she is. It was like, I am smart. I want to go to college. I like to write, but now I have this obstacle in front of me.
Mm. Okay. Anything else y'all want to get into as far as the overall discussion before we kind of get into like these character relationships and plots.
I'm ready to get into the characters or the,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever.
Well, okay. So what you got listed, Mia?
I have Beverly as a kid. I have Beverly getting pregnant. I have the parents, her marriage and life after baby, and I have Faye, Jason, and Ray.
Fake Jason Ray. Okay. Ash, what you got?
Sorry for y'all, because my notes are kind of like all over the place. Um, I have that conversation with Faye and Bev when the kids are like older, they're outside by the pool. I think that was a heavy conversation.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
Um, I got, of course, Ray and Bev. I got Faye by herself, just kind of her character.
Hmm.
I got the conversation with Ray and his son on the initial dipping out. Um, the conversation with older Jason and Beverly, and Beverly and her pops dynamic.
Okay.
So
I got Beverly and her father, or Mr. Donofrio. Beverly and Jason. Beverly and Frey, and Beverly and Ray. So let's start off with, since we all got this trips here. Let's go with Beverly and her father. Mia G, what you want? What do you have to say about Beverly and her father, Mr. Donofrio?
Me?
Yeah, yeah, you.
Oh, okay. So the first thing that I noticed when, the film opens and her going with her dad to look at the Christmas lights is she had a really close relationship with her father.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell that they connected, but she was afraid of her getting away from him a little bit. She was a little bit too, um, what's the word I'm looking for?
Sheltered.
When I don't want to keep using the word fast because I just really don't even like that term.
She definitely that though.
Okay, Mo.
I mean, am I lying though? Come on, bro. Like we,
Yeah, asking your dad for a bra because you like a boy is
come
crazy.
on, bro. Come on, bro.
But
Stop playing with me.
it's like you can see that she's probably his favorite child. And they have this friendship on top of being, father and daughter. But you can see instantly that he's gonna have to pull the reins in on her.
Mm-hmm.
And then once he does, as she gets older, she starts to feel like he's a little bit overbearing. I think that the relationship is damaged beyond repair when she gets pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start to see a shift where, because her dad is a police officer.
All right.
So one of the first scenes we see is he catches her and Faye in the car with the boys and takes them to jail. And you see instantly her dad, he's he's hard. He's not the type of father who's going to bail you out and save you from yourself. He wants her to face all of the consequences of her actions, even if he thinks it's tough love. To her, it might feel like he's maybe too hard on her or he's not loving enough. But I think that what he feels is showing her tough love comes off to her as, it's not very loving.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of scenes where because I don't fault her father. I don't think he was a bad father, but there were times when I do feel like, and I don't want to give too much away because I know we'll probably talk more about it once we talk about Bev herself and like being pregnant and being a teenage mother. But there were times when I felt like he really didn't consider her feelings or like her as a person outside of just being his daughter.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can get more into that since it does fit this area. Ash, what you got? You have them as well, Beverly and her father.
Yeah. Um, Pretty much the same. It seemed like she was a daddy's girl. She's very open and honest with him from the gate, even as a young girl. Um, and we didn't really get introduced to the mother until kind of like down the line. So it was just kind of like, at first I was like, where's the mother? But yeah, so it seems like they had, a good relationship. He was obviously strict, very traditional, and he used the word disappointed in Beth. So that goes to show that he had, you know, held her up to a certain standard. And like you said, with him being a police officer, all eyes are on him and his family, I'm sure. Um, you know, he was conventional, and she wanted to be a writer, and she had aspirations and dreams. And I think because it didn't fit neatly into his view, that caused some tension between them, some hurt feelings, obviously, said some things, um, and probably some misunderstanding, there also between their dynamic. So,
Yeah. The boob conversation was wild. And also him just smoking a cigarette in the car with the windows up. It's nuts.
It was the 60s.
Windows up is still nuts, even in the 60s. Smoking
Women
it.
were smoking while they were pregnant, drinking and smoking.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
In the
It gets deeper and darker. They still like getting busy. But you know, um, the dad spoke about how disappointed he was with her being pregnant and was heartbroken. And there's a later segment I'll speak to where the film didn't provide certain context in that regard. But I think she suffered from the preacher kid syndrome.
like a cop's kid syndrome.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's preacher kids tend to rebel hard. Like, oh, because I gotta be, upstanding and this and that. Because of that, I want the forbidding lifestyle, so to speak. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do that, and so I'm gonna go harder than the person that doesn't have a preacher parent or a police officer parent. I think she suffered from that a little bit. Maybe that answers my question later. I don't know, but I think that's definitely like a foundational thing. But I don't think that they necessarily capitalized on that. We're putting the pieces together because we're doing a podcast on a film that came out as long 24 years ago. But I don't know if they necessarily capitalized that angle. Um so but yeah, that's kind of all I got for the father. I mean, the father pulls up later in the film and picks her up, which was an interesting thing that she called him to pick her up, which we thought I definitely thought it was going to be uh acne shawty, but he didn't, it wasn't him. So uh
Tommy.
Tommy, all right, Tommy, yeah. Is Tommy one of those six characters you was talking about?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. You got him in your did you bring him up in your list?
No, but he's not on my list, but he kind of plays into another part about Beverly that I
Okay,
have.
more of a Beverly thing. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's roll what you got. So what you got that's like a little bit more important.
So I want to talk about just the whole Bev getting pregnant, like finding out she's pregnant, getting pregnant, finding out she's pregnant, and the way her parents kind of responded to it
Mm-hmm.
and how that plays into the times, the
Yeah.
culture of her family, and and how it played out for her life, like how she what she expected versus what happened. So I think again, I see Beverly again. I watched a lot of special features with this because I had it on DVD and got to see a lot of from the main character who wrote
Yeah.
the book. And I see it in myself too, like the way that I was as a teenager.
Hmm.
I like to write too. I wanted to be a journalist. Like I told you when we did Harriet
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Spy,
yeah,
I
absolutely.
wanted to be, I think a lot of times people who enjoy writing or have that flair, because you have it too, Mo, but I think, and I don't know if you can relate to this, but just from what I've seen for myself, what I've seen in this character and some other people that I know, like my little sister, you can be kind of idealistic when you are creative. You see things through the way you want them to be. You can be a hopeless romantic in a way. You romanticize things. You romanticize life and situations and
Hmm.
people. And I think that was a lot of what Beverly did because the first boy that we see her like being Sky
Hmm.
Barrister, he was an asshole, but she romanticized him in her mind, not for who he actually was, but what she had this fantasy, what she saw and what she wrote about. And as soon as she meets Ray, and he's nice to her, she starts to romanticize him, even though she can see clearly what type of person he is and, where he came up and how his life is going doesn't fit into what the idea she has of her life. But because of who she is, she's romanticized him, which leads her to fall into this whole little summer romance, which at her young 15-year-old self doesn't realize. And now she's pregnant. And now she has to grapple with some reality of what comes along with riding in cars with boys when you're 15 years old
Yeah.
and romanticizing people you don't have any business being in the first place.
uh, there's an interesting talking point when you talk about Beverly and Ray. He caught her at the right time as far as a vulnerable position because she's going after the popular guy and she pretty much gets rejected hard. And that level of rejection and open embarrassment, uh, Ray comes behind that and pretty much steps in on her behalf. And there's this interesting thing when you're in middle school, high school, where you really don't know where your standing is. Like your parents tell you you're nice looking, you're good looking, you're attractive, blah blah blah. And then you go through school and you're trying to figure out, you're trying to gauge it. Such and such said I'm nice looking. Such and such said I look funny. Such and such is joning on me. You're trying to gauge your look. You know what I mean? So in this moment, to me, when it comes to Beverly, I found it interesting that the popular football guy was like kind of just like really clowning her, but then right after Ray comes in and he's like defending her and he's getting busy. And Ray's not necessarily like this ugly guy or nothing like that. Like he's not, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But her gauge had it almost seemed like her gauge had to switch fairly quickly, you know. I still felt like she felt like she was better than Ray. I don't think she ever thought that like, oh, we're equal.
No, for
This is
sure.
my level. You know what I mean? Because you got to have some engagement on your looks, your attractiveness, your value. Before you start being like, oh, okay, this is my equal. I don't feel like she felt like she was shooting for the stars with the football player, but I definitely think that she knew.
Yes.
You cool. I could do better, but since you made this promise to me, all right, we'll see. So, um, Ash, uh, is that all you had for Beverly and Ray, or that was just like your
I got
introduction?
plenty more on Beverly and Ray,
Okay,
but
how
that was
about
the
okay, all right. Yeah. Ash, anything you want to add to the Beverly and Ray, the adolescent part of that relationship?
Oh, that's what we're talking about. Oh, thought it was when she was about the pregnancy, but
yeah,
Well,
that
I
like
mean,
her.
Ray got her pregnant. I mean,
Oh yeah, no, I didn't know it was like we honed in on them too. Okay. Yeah, I mean their relationship was terrible. But at first Ray seemed sweet and he's like a funny guy and she clinged to him like you said. Her focus shifted pretty quick after that rejection from the Sky, yes,
Sky, uh-huh.
Sky, and
He ain't even dope enough to have the name Scott, bro. He ain't. I mean, you're not fly like that, bro. Anyway,
but and then obviously she gets pregnant. She starts to cling more to Ray, but I feel like it was because of like she was scared and it was entrapment. Like I
yeah,
don't think they were truly in love.
nah,
Um, and yeah, I mean, of course, they get married 15. It's crazy. And then to think, like, when we fast forward throughout the movie, they were married for a long time, But again, in them days, ain't no divorce anyway. You
it's the
just,
'60s,
whatever
'70s.
happens,
Yeah,
yeah, you just stay together and till the end. But,
he dies. He dies.
but it was pretty clear, like, almost immediately that they weren't really partners. Ray is irresponsible. He was immature. She was very ambitious, and she wanted more for her life, college, career, and obviously we find out Ray had his drug addiction as well. So definitely not compatible in any way, but just he was the next guy that kind of showed her attention at the right time.
And
So yeah, what do you say?
I blame her parents a lot for that too.
What for? Like her gauge or like?
For
What do you?
the whole so when she found out she was pregnant, she didn't want to marry Ray. She didn't even want to
Right.
be with Ray. She was
Sure.
trying to figure out ways to get rid of the baby, but she didn't have any money. And then she wanted to take her baby and move to New York and, try to go to school and write. She didn't want to. She agreed to get married because when she told her parents she was pregnant, they
Hmm.
said, "You're gonna get married, and this is what you're gonna do." You and him are gonna move into the rec room with the baby. You'll get married. And she's her initial thing was she told her parents, "My plan actually is to not get married," and they looked at her like she was crazy. When
Hmm.
she saw the disappointment on their face, and when her father said what he said to her, she said, "You know what? Okay, we're gonna get married." So she did that out of obligation. It wasn't actually what she wanted to do. She didn't even really like Ray.
No,
That's what I was
no.
saying. Yeah,
Told
there
him
was
herself
nothing.
when he proposed.
It
It
was a
was the
rebound.
summer,
Yeah, it was definitely a rebound vibe.
But I will say I did like that little moment after the marriage where he showed that he had a crib for him. It was just that little moment of happiness,
Oh yeah,
in the
yes.
struggle times where she was kind of like realizing like, hey, it was perceived that he was going to be here and like, like we're in this together, let's do this. And she finally kind of let her guard down a little bit, started, but obviously it was short lived. But that moment of happiness I liked.
I actually got that in my notes as like a bullet point as well. Like I like how excited they were about
Yeah.
getting and having their own home. Like that, her dad helped with it. It looked like it was in the hood. You know what I mean? It
public
definitely,
housing.
huh?
It's public housing.
Public housing, but still, like y'all, we all came from humble beginnings. You know what I mean? Like, and let me speak for myself. Um, we definitely our first apartment was definitely in the hood, but it was a nice hood, and the level of excitement knowing that we got a crib, bro. Like I'm fresh out of college, back at the crib, staying at mom's. I got a apart. That shit was fire, bro. So when I seen this scene, I was like, bro, I feel it. Like her smirk, bro. I don't realize. Oh, you gonna need this repair. You got roaches. You got this, bro. I ain't think about none of that. I got my own crib. I got my own rules, and I really enjoyed this scene. Like I was like,
Yeah.
bro, because that feeling never gets old. Something to call your own. This is your
Hmm.
first establishment into being a grown up, even though you're maybe 16, 17, still. You know what I mean? So I
I
love you
had a
singing.
studio. Remember, that was my first out
Yeah.
the house. It was a studio apartment. I didn't care. I was so happy.
Nah,
It
not
was
at
all
all.
mine.
And it was nice too. You had it laid out.
Yeah. It was just me, so sure, $300 a month.
Okay, my first
That
was
is,
325.
wait, hold. Wait. You had a studio too?
No, it was a little one-bedroom apartment, but it was in the hood,
And since
That's my studio.
pre-gentrified downtown Cincinnati.
oh wait. You were downtown Cincinnati?
It was right on the cusp of
Oh,
gentrification.
so like you could literally like drive and you're in downtown.
No, when I lived there, I lived my first apartment was downtown.
How is that possible?
What you mean?
What we talking? 2011? 2010? What?
Oh, what's that when I got that apartment? I think it would have been 2010, 20, yeah, about 20, either, yeah, 2010, probably checks.
Man, 300 is still wild at that time in
325.
downtown. No, 325, like that's still wild
So
in that
where I
era.
got it, it was right before like they were starting to put little bars and shops downtown uh
Mm,
in over the Rhine, if you're familiar with that area. So we have like there are like sections to our downtowns, like downtown business district. We have banks with the restaurants and bars. We have over the Rhine, which is like right as you go into downtown, which was the hood. Still kind of is in spots, but they're like it's really gentrified now. And so that's where my apartment was, and it was like above a bar. And it wasn't public housing, but it was like rent controlled, if you like know what
Mm.
that means. So that was my first apartment. And it was not laid out. I was super ghetto. I had like a bed and a couch, and that's it.
Hey, that's all you really need for real
And
though.
but I was so proud of it, having my own little place.
That's all you
mhm.
really need for real when you dolo like that. A bed and a couch, and I got a fridge. We straight, man. You said 2010, so you was around 20. Like, we up. It's up. It's
Mhm.
up. Like for real.
Yeah.
For real. Like it's up. Like at 20 years old, I'm downtown. Like, hey, it's popping. What's up? I'm coming
Mhm.
downstairs. What we doing? What we doing? For real. Like,
Period,
hey,
exactly.
let me tell y'all where to park.
Let me buzz you up.
Yeah, I will buzz you
Oh, it
up.
wasn't no buzz. I had to come and open that door.
Ain't no buzz. Like that's a
Ain't no
privilege.
buzz. I gotta
I
come
always
and
wanted to buzz somebody up. I always wanted to
I
experience
definitely
that.
want to buzz somebody up. I wrote it in my last season of role. Like I wanted to buzz. Like it was so serious. Like shout out to Seinfeld with the buzz up, man. For real. That's good. Any let's still continue with this Beverly and Ray thing.
Okay.
Ash, what else do you want to talk about when we talk about Beverly and Ray? And Mia, you can
Um,
respond after that.
I mean, that's kind of really all I had, I mean, what I have more so is when he started to admit his addiction and all of that. Like, are we just covering all
The
bases with,
whole thing just of
okay.
Beverly.
Yeah, I mean, he was a terrible husband. It's like, yeah, you were going to work, but it's like, what's that dude with the
Sometimes.
curly hair? His friend, what's his name? The dude,
Lizard.
Lizard, bro, trash bag, man. Like y'all just out here doing dirt. And again, like he just looked like he was drunk all the time. I never would have thought he was doing heroin. Like I just didn't.
Hmm.
I mean, not that I would know the vibe, but it just it just seemed like he was just drunk all the time. But missing like she was she trying to get a scholarship? Is that what she went in? And
Yeah.
then Ray obviously he didn't pick up Jason, and he's just like trying to think of every excuse to say, and she didn't give him any way out of it. He's just like, I forgot. Like it's crazy, bro. Like I'm trying to take it to the next level, and you're just comfortable just being here. And so again, just no match at all. And that conversation with Ray, and his son made me so mad. Like when he was leaving, this is the part
Oh,
that pisses
it
me
pissed me off too. Pissed me
like
off real bad.
this this got me about out the bed like, all right, this is the type of shit that gets on my nerves in these movies. I hated this scene because it's always the depiction, right? The dad leaves because of the mom. Like the kid thinks that it's because of the mother. I hate you, all this and that. And I didn't like the conversation that he had with him. You said they're going to say a lot of bad things about me. And what did he say? Two of
Only
them are going to be
are
true.
gonna be true.
That shouldn't have, you should have led with, hey, I'm sick right now. You know, daddy has to get better so we can be together again in whatever, format that looks like for y'all family dynamic. But it burns me up inside when I see this type of stuff. I'm like, he was so attached to his dad. Like, of course, what this is like the dad's the fun parent. And
Hmm.
then it's like the mom is the one out here holding it down. Like that's what gets on my nerves. I hate they do this in so many movies. It gets on my nerves so bad.
Was it? Is it triggering or like what? What?
I'd be a little bit of a trigger.
Fair enough. Fair
There'd
enough.
be some, you know, it's
Hey, no, no
definitely a
doubt,
little triggering.
no doubt, no doubt,
Um,
no doubt.
but it's just like, again, he's only the actor, so it's not like him personally. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like the conversation you should have led with, you're sick right now. Like, let's be clear of what's going on instead of just talking about you're gonna hear bad things about me. Like, come on, bro. I hated the scene. Um,
Mm.
but yeah. So
Let's go back and talk about all of the times and all of the ways in which Ray let her down and how she appeared to be this aloof, like like it seemed like she was selfish. She would come off as a selfish character because when Jason was a baby, she's studying. She's like, Mom, he won't leave me alone. And she's like, he's not supposed to. You're his mother. But again, Ray comes in, like even when she was pregnant about to have the baby, he comes home. He missed her appointment. He didn't take her to the doctor's appointment because he was drunk. He came home late. He comes home, her waters break, they go to the hospital. Then as Jason gets older, he's having fun with Jason. He plays with Jason. But then when it's time for him to go to work, we think he's going to work every day. Turns out he's not. She's studying, she's working really hard to take her SATs to get her scholarship. The one day that she needs him to be there so she can go do her scholarship interview, she goes to drop
Mhm.
Jason off at his job. He never showed up today. She has to take him. Of course, he's 3, so he ain't acting right. Sitting still for no whole interview. She knows instantly she's not going to get it. This thing that she worked so hard for. And she goes home. He's just there with Lizard, chilling, being stupid because he's so immature.
Oh man.
And all he has to say for himself is, I forgot. Like, she just literally crushed all of her dreams, everything she worked so hard for. She thought that she earned, boom, snatched away. Then move forward a little bit more. She's working. They've got a little rhythm. Jason's a little older, probably like 6. And, she has a birthday party for him. When Tommy comes back around, and he's not little pimple face Tommy anymore. He cute. He real cute. He'd have been in California going to college. And he gives her another way out, another opportunity. You can come to California with me. All of you can come. I have the space. The state pays for school. She saves her money. What happens? Soon they're packing. They're ready to go. You got to come over here. It's Ray. And you find out that he's spent all your money on heroin. And now, not only do you once again not get to go to college because of Ray, you got to stay here, take care of your baby, take care of him, try to get him better. Spending all this time and as someone who has personal experience as a child with a loved one who had a dependency problem, you're going through withdrawals with your child in the next room. it's just um when she made the decision to, you know what, he thought that it was gonna be okay to say, hey, as long as I can do a little bit of heroin every day,
Mhm.
just to keep me straight, we'll be good. And she's like, no, you can't stay here with me and my son doing a little bit of heroin every day. You gotta go
Yeah.
because you'll ruin our lives. And just like Ash said, the conversation he had with Jason before he left, saying, your mom doesn't think it's a good idea if we're around each other anymore, was extremely selfish and extremely immature and extremely hurtful to Beverly and Jason.
Did he lie though?
But the point is,
That's not the conversation you
you're
had.
a drug
It
addict.
ain't, but he didn't lie though. Your
Yeah, but
mom.
did she tell him
That's what
that
he
you're
did.
an
It's not that
addict?
your mother doesn't think we should be around each other. I'm on drugs and I can't be here anymore.
But I don't feel that way. Don't get me wrong. He's a drug addict. He shouldn't be around, no doubt. But he don't feel that way. So it's his
But
truth.
Jason is too
She
young to understand that. So to a 6-year-old, you can't just say your mother doesn't think it's a good idea for me to be around you anymore without the context of
Mm-hmm.
he has no context as to why. To a little boy that age, now he thinks my mom is making my dad leave. My mom
so
is
what
the reason
should
why
he have
my dad is no longer
what
here.
what should Ray have said in the state that he was in?
Ash said it. Ash said he should have said, Dad's sick right now. I need to go away to get myself together. It's the best thing for you and your mom if I
Mm-hmm.
take some time away to work on getting better because daddy is sick. But to say that your mom doesn't want me around is not taking any accountability for the fact that you're
Yeah.
on drugs. And now she has to sit here and pick up the pieces and grapple with this resentment from her son for thinking that she chased his daddy away when it's really no. I'm protecting
Mm-hmm.
you from your father and his drug problem.
And him leading with that is tough because she's the parent that's going to still be around. So again, she has to pick up the pieces from you for, making the kid not think like, hey, like she said, I just pushed your dad away just because I didn't want to be with him anymore. Could have left him a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? So now you're adding heroin in there. It's like, bro, this is a wrap. And one more sidebar: the 20 deluxe burgers and the 20 order of fries for $11. Talk about the time.
Man,
Bruh.
I said,
Bruh.
well, that's about $45 now.
Oh my
35,
God. I
girl,
thought about
125.
I did not put that in my notes, but I swear I thought about that.
Me too.
I was so close to putting in my notes, but I like, what, let it marinate. But like, I swear, yeah, I'm glad somebody brought it up.
Know me? Got to add that comic relief in there. Yeah, I know that.
Nah, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, y'all spot on. Like when it comes to Ray, um, but we find out that Ray is pretty much a junkie and has been on heroin for 2 years. And Bev tells Ray that he gotta go, and the scene we talked about a little bit of the scene between Ray and Jason. I didn't really put it like a separate category as far as Ray and Jason. I kind of tied it into the Beverly storyline, but like I was just going to the latter part of the movie where he's grown and they go to get his consent on her writing, saying, hey, look, there's a lot of stuff about you being on drugs. And to be honest, I really liked this from Ray. Ray, he definitely getting high, he getting busy. His wife is definitely on the eagle eye. She's watching your every move.
Shout out to Rosie Perez.
Rosie Perez, man. Shout out to, hey, listen, one of my favorite movies. White Man Can't Jump.
Yeah.
um, but like that whole scene, this is a scene where it made me like Ray, to be honest, because Ray always knew he came up short. He knew from the gate he wasn't worthy of her. He always knew who he was. Even when he got on, he knew who he was. But like in this moment, he knew that like I owe her. I've ruined so much in her life, and I owe her, and I signed those papers. That's why it wasn't a problem for him until he like got to deal with his wife. He's like, oh okay, but he figured out a way to finesse it, and give it back to Jason on the sneak. And to be honest, after this scene, I really hope that Jason come back and visit his father from time to time. Not looking for his father to be like the father of the year, but just like hey, this is the only dad that I got. I just want to see you. That's the way I viewed it once that all that transpired. I was like, man, I just really hope that Jason went to view him to see him and just have like I just want to look at you, Pop. That's the way I felt watching it. I was like, because his dad ain't never gonna be the father of the year. Like he's nowhere near that. He's gonna always be on whatever. He got an addictive personality from what it seems
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
But
And it looked like it was hereditary for him too, and his father, what he said about his father. And I ideally, yeah, you would want Jason to go back, but I don't think he ever did. I don't think
yeah, yeah, you're right.
he went on and moved on with his life, um, moved to Indiana. But I loved what I love what Ray said to Jason in that moment too, when he said, your mom wrote me and told me what a good man you have turned out to be. And I think that the best thing I could have done for you was stay away. I
Yeah,
feel like I helped that with that just by staying away because I wasn't good for you. And sometimes that's real, That was the
that was a deep
accountability
insight right
that
there.
yeah, that's the accountability that we needed from him and we probably wouldn't have got if he had stayed. He needed to see his son grown and realize I didn't even recognize my son when I saw him.
Mhm.
It blew his breath away when she said, he's like, "What's up, man?" She's like, "Ray, this is your son." And you see his face just kind of like he's embarrassed almost of what he's become.
Yeah,
See his To have his son come and see him like that, and it just was like that realization moment, like, wow, okay, yeah, I wasn't there, and I may not ever see you again, but I just want you to know that I felt bad about it until your mom told me what a great man you became. And I'm glad that I stayed away
yeah.
because that probably helped.
That's deep. It's really deep. Sometimes the solution that we have for our kids is not always idealistic. You know what I mean? I've seen it from our kids' era, and I've seen it from us, like being around, seeing us, like a person that I know closely, dealing with her parent, same age as my parent, and seeing how they deal with her in real time. It's like, you know, so Mia, you nailed that. You definitely nailed that. What else we got here? Because I think that's kind of it. I do like what Ray did. When he came to visit him that time, but I think I don't want to belabor the point.
Hmm.
Um, should we get into? Let's get into Beverly and Faye. Ash.
Yes. She was a ride or die. She was a good friend. I be indifferent. Every time I see her, I just think of 8 Mile. So
Absolutely,
seeing
absolutely.
her in anything else, I'm like,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah.
See,
all I see is
I got her
that
from
scene.
before that.
Oh,
It'll
okay.
always be Clueless for me.
Oh, she
Oh,
was
she
in
was in
Clueless.
that. She was.
Yeah, young, curly haired, chubby Brittany Murphy. She
Wow.
was
I didn't know.
Ty
I'm gonna have
from
to.
Clueless.
Oh, I do remember her
Early
being.
mid
I have to look her up. Uh, but yeah, I like Faye and Beverly. I mean, again, they both were out here in them streets. I mean, Faye was really. I mean, the fact that she was like really making out with dude, he was trying to get her in the room, and she was just wanting to make out only. First of all, he was trying to, but like, bro, Emily, you just kept. He's like,
The
you
way
know, I'm
she
about to go to the
spread her
basement.
legs to hold herself up the door.
Right. I just want to kiss. That's it, bro. Um, but yeah, I like their friendship. Obviously, they were in similar circumstances. Grew up together. Obviously, their kids grew up together. End up falling in love. What are the odds of that? Um, I think Faye. I mean, she was more cautious, like the more cautious friend, a little more practical. But she was also pretty warm, and she seemed like she cared a lot. And I mean, she was just a ride or die. I like their dynamic. It was a solid friendship. Yeah, I didn't have too much to say, but yeah, I mean, she was cool.
Uh,
That conversation I was talking about
Mhm.
with the kids at the pool, though,
that was heavy.
that was so deep, bro.
Listen to me.
I was like, when she asked, I mean,
uh,
this was Beverly being as vulnerable as possible, like, cause who says something like this? Like, this is deep.
no, this is
So
real
for her,
though. This is
yeah, that's
real.
why I said. I mean, it's your best friend, so everybody gotta have that one person that they can tell anything. Like
This
take it to
this,
the grave.
this scene to me, it
Hmm.
made me think about Mia.
And that's exactly what I was literally about to say. This is a scene why I picked this movie.
I said this lines up to what I in our short time of recording what I believe Mia's thought process goes to. When I seen this scene, I immediately said, "Okay, this is like a real, real moment. And let's get the jokes aside. Let's get the fun aside. Let's get the what I should say, the PR side. Let's keep it a beam. Let's have the real convo." And when I seen that scene, I said, "Oh, this is why Mia picked this movie."
Yeah.
Like, and so anyway, I just want to put that in. But finish what you're saying, Ash. My bad.
But yeah, I mean, when she was like, she don't know if she loved Jason because she has to, or if
Mm-hmm.
she really loves him deeply.
That's real.
Whew, that was tough.
Oh wait.
That was tough.
Hey,
But
listen.
it was her truth. I mean, she was struggling. Again, you're a young parent. It's like, you got to take care of the kid, but you just like sometimes there's a detachment there, and so yeah, that was just a real conversation. And
Okay.
of course, Faye had some encouraging words afterwards and
Mm-hmm.
things like that, but
Yeah.
that was tough. And then
So,
obviously him falling into the pool,
oh yeah, it was a quick
her
little,
instinct, yeah, kind of like,
but it, he fall in the pool. It could have been more, but the ex that this is where the issues are. I can imagine. You can see where I'm coming from. He's in a pool that's like in the backyard. Like if he was in a public pool, like an apartment, we'd be like, oh damn, he could really go. He could die. You know what I mean? But it's like, oh, you right there, bro.
I think the
Uh,
point wasn't that he could die. I think
I know,
it
but
was that she wasn't paying attention. He fell in the pool. He couldn't swim. It was freezing cold outside. And she, in that moment, had a realization like, damn, I
hmm
really need, like, I need to get it together. I'm not a good mother because she dismissed him, told him go away, and he ends up falling in the
yeah.
pool.
Well, let me ask this, Mia. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I think that they forsake that scene, but I want to ask you, Mia, because me and you are in a similar boat. We have multiple kids. How
Two of them,
far? Okay, yeah, two of them things. So, how far are your kids apart in age?
2 years.
Okay, I don't know. We may not have the same perspective.
And your
So,
kids are way further apart.
10 years apart.
Yeah.
So, ah, I don't know. I don't even know if it's worth asking.
Well, what was the question?
Well, when we get to this scene, the backyard scene, and everything, trying to figure out, do you love them? I mean, it goes without saying we love our kids. Like
Mhm.
you, especially mothers. Y'all birthed them. Y'all carried them. So it's ridiculous almost to be like I birthed them, but I don't love them. Not to say it don't happen, But it's like, bro, I feel my child kicking, pushing, wanting to slide out. You know what I mean? So, but that's why I almost was like, I don't know. I don't know. But is there any point in this scene that you could relate to at all when they're having that conversation?
Yeah. And this is where like the conversations, like I have to shout out my personal Faye, the Thelma to my Louise, my cousin Missy, who
Shout
is
out
that
to Missy.
person who I can be 110, 120, 1000% honest with her, and she can be 1000% honest with me. And we have conversations, not this specific conversation, but conversations just about motherhood and life in general. And when I saw this, as a kid, even then, because I've always kind of been like a old soul, I guess.
I could relate.
I it resonated with me then in a different way, but now I can see it a little bit differently. And it's kind of like you, as a mother, there are certain expectations put on you, certain ideals put on you. And when you don't feel like you're living up to them, or when you don't feel like you mother in the traditional way that you see people around you mothering, or you don't feel like you relate to motherhood the way that you see other people relating to motherhood. Because I think as mothers, sometimes we all feel like we're falling short. And when you see like a
Oh
real
yeah,
example
absolutely, absolutely.
of someone who is sees herself falling short, but she almost feels like justified in it. So I look at Beverly and Faye as two sides of the same coin. Like Faye, she came from an affluent family. Like Beverly wasn't poor. She wasn't well to do either though. She came from a working class family. Her dad was a police officer. Faye's family had money. Her husband at the time was in the army. He was going off to, he had enlisted. He was shipping out. She lived at home with her parents. She didn't go off and get her own place. She had that stability. Her and her baby girl lived at home with her parents. And she kind of had a little bit more of a safety net and a soft place to land that gave her the ability to have that softness with her daughter where she could really pour in and connect in a loving way, where I feel like Beverly was thrown out there into survival mode in a way where she kind of detached from Jason, not because she didn't love him, but because she had to handle business because Ray
Because she
wasn't
was so
dependent.
young, it's like I'm not really accounting for my
Yeah,
child. You know what
she's
I
trying to
mean?
get a degree. She's trying to get handle her husband. She's trying to, her parents on her back, and she's got a lot more of life to grapple with. And Faye doesn't really have to deal with a lot of the hardships that Beverly had to deal with. Even though she was there with Beverly through it all, and she was always going to ride for her and be there and do, those things. But it was more so when they had that conversation, what resonates with me is just the conversations that we may have with our friends, like I'm surrounded by mothers. All of my friends almost are mothers, and we all mother differently. We've all gone through traumas and hardships, and we all have our different things that we have to go through in parenting, and it's not always fun. We love our kids, but we don't always love motherhood. And that's something
Oh,
a lot of
okay,
people don't
okay.
say.
And see,
And that's the thing about this movie that I feel is a perfect depiction of
perfect,
not always sunshine and rainbows. We're not, everybody isn't,
perfect.
it's not like sitting on a lily pad and, hearing somewhere over the rainbow when you're just like, it's difficult, it's hard, it's selfless, it's grueling and taxing and all these other things. And at the end of the day, you are going to be blamed for every hardship that your kids face. And when they're going through their therapy, when they're 25, 30 years old, your name is
Right.
going to come up.
Right. Uh well, the depiction is there. I wouldn't say perfect though. This is, it goes back to like my issue in the execution. The themes and concept is there, and the way you explained it. If you were in the writers' room, or maybe even the director's room, like, okay, go this way. This is how you present it. It's like, okay, boom. This is how we go. This is how we get there. But like the execution wasn't there for me. It's like,
I can see that. And I kind of have a
you know what
with
I
this
mean?
scene, I kind of have a moment where I'm like, they could have done a little, like there
Because
could have been
because it's
a
there.
moment.
It's there. Like all the things that you're saying conceptually, like this whole movie, it's there. I'm like, if they tweak certain things, I'm like, bro, it's there because this is a real life scenario. And that's why when I say, oh, I can see why Mia picked this movie. There, the bones, the foundation is there, but the execution is where I struggle with. But when you get in your bag and explain like you are, I'm like, oh, I get where you're coming from, and I like your version. But like the way it was executed in this movie 24 years ago, it's like, ah, y'all could have did without these cartoony themes. Y'all could have did without certain characters that weren't needed. We could have focused in and honed in and zoomed in on this world, this environment, and we could have executed this theme of co-parenting is not an easy thing, but they didn't quite do that. And again, it's 2001, so I got grace for it. But the way you are getting into it is like, I wish they would have. I wish they would have had something similar to your response to it. So yeah. Um. Okay. So Ash, what other categories do you have?
I think I just have just a conversation with older Jason and Beverly,
Beverly, Jason. Okay.
when they're on the dock or whatever.
Mia,
Mm,
what else do you have?
I just have Jason like as a character, and you know
And Beverly as a
that
character.
goes into what Ash is saying.
All right. Well, I think that kind of lines up to what we all got because I got obviously Beverly and Jay. So Ash, lead us in. What do you want to say about that conversation between Beverly and Jason?
Um, Another real raw, truthful conversation had between mother and son. I mean, it was like he felt like he was a burden. Like she couldn't make her dreams happen because she obviously was a mother, but then she was trying to explain to him like she did love him, and but it was hard, and she was still a kid herself, raising a kid. So it's like you said, you're like, she's still studying. She like, yeah, it's like you got a kid, but you're not really like motherhood is not kicking in. You're just it's kind of like another body that's there that you got to take care of, obviously. But I want to go to college. Like I want to be a writer, so I'm focusing on me. Um, and they both getting emotional. I just think that scene was really powerful, and it was something that he said that kind of made me write some things in my notes. I was like, man, this is so yeah. There was some things in here that was speaking to me as well, and I'm like, I do feel like this movie is filled with a lot of conversational pieces. I think them trying to bring it all together, it didn't connect fully for me. But like I said, there's real and raw moments in here that I do like. I just wish it was more everything was just a little more cohesive. Um but yeah, like older Jason, he wanted to go. Mia, was he already in college and
Mm-hmm.
wanting to finish college in New
Mm-hmm.
York with Amelia? Okay, so he was
So
already in college.
he went to NYU where his mom
Okay.
always wanted to go, but he wanted to transfer to Indiana
Oh, okay,
with
okay.
Amelia.
To finish out.
Yeah,
Okay.
he had 2 years left.
Okay, that's why I was kind of confused on that. Like, is he okay? All right. So yeah, he just wanted to carve out his own life, you know. And again, she was like, no, absolutely not. She's wanting him to do the things that she didn't get to do, right? Go to college, finish college, you'll be done. Then you can do whatever you need to do. Because she had so many roadblocks to get to where she was. And it's not she was really trying to, you know, get to him. But as the kid, like that moment, this takes me back when he was like a little older kid and he was like, you're the mother, I'm the kid. I was like, he's right.
That's
You
real.
know, I'm talking to the TV. I'm
That's
like,
real.
that moment right there. No matter how hard it gets, bro, you're the parent. They're the kid. The kid should be able to just go with the flow, be as happy as they can. You know, we try to keep a lot of things away from them. They don't know, like, well, I gotta go to work. I gotta get a check every 2 weeks to make sure these bills is paid. Make sure you got food, like clothes on your back. They don't even realize all that
Hmm.
goes into, bro. Nothing is free, but they don't know. You know,
Yeah, all right.
I'm like, boy, you just wake up, go to school, and just things are just happening for you.
Hmm.
So
Clothes
that
are in the
rawness,
closet. Food is in the
right?
kitchen.
You have video games.
Yeah, exactly. You got
You
Wi-Fi.
get Anthony get a haircut on the regular. You hear me?
Hmm.
Like these are not, you know,
I'm
this is
just
not
pulling up,
free.
and I just got money. Like you don't even get it.
Yeah, no.
Don't get me
So,
started, okay?
Oh,
all right,
oh.
ballet recitals, like, dude,
Hmm.
this is
Hey, listen.
all.
Uniforms,
Yeah,
Theater,
shoes.
camp, drama club, ballet,
Hmm.
after school program,
Talk about it.
yeah.
Robux.
Sport,
Talk.
Roblox, Fortnite, dude, the shit costs money. Shit is hard. It's very hard. But so yeah, just another raw moment that I enjoyed with older Jason and Beverly. And she didn't realize how much he was hurting because he kept it inside. He never, you know, they didn't have a moment of truth really. You know, with him being, you know, older. Even in the car, he was just so hesitant to even tell her that he wants to go to Indiana and finish up with Amelia. But so yeah, man,
This is relatable content.
road
Um,
smashing.
yeah,
It's
got the.
Cheeto, flaming hot Cheeto puffs.
Hey, you gotta relax. You too locked in right now. I don't know how you got that.
I can see you.
You
Hey,
too
it's
locked
smacking
in.
too.
you, you too locked in right now.
Hey,
Like we on Zoom. Like I don't know how you caught those details, but I gotta do better to be discreet. Um, but Jason, there was a little bit of a triggering moment, like just knowing how hard he went with his mom, knowing that things ended badly between mom and dad. I definitely connected with that from a little boy to a grown man, and Ash obviously knows what I'm referring to. You know, just the role that you play in being there for your mother, because you know, moms are different, bro. Moms have so much grace, so much love, so much forgiveness, so much flexibility when it comes to their kids. Moms are just built different. Y'all are special. And dads will never be on that level. You know, we could be great fathers, no doubt, but we'll never be on the level of a great mother. And a great mother is why I am who I am today. And so this movie definitely highlights those moments. Even though I wouldn't say necessarily Bev was a great mother. I don't think she's a great mother, but I don't think she's a bad mother either. I think she was a mother trying to figure it out, which is most of our scenario. A father trying to figure it out, a mother trying. We just trying to figure it out, which is why this movie has relatable content and it has some uh moments. And again, this is why these moments I understand when we get to the back half of the movie. I'm like, okay, I understand how Mia got here because it has these moments full of heart that make me say, "Oh, damn, it is that complicated," and I can appreciate that. So, only thing else I want to add as far as Beverly and Jason, Jason snitched on his mama. Oh man, dealing weed and that the money, and they used that money to bail her out, and it ruined her plans to move to New York. And that makes him, and that had a direct correlation back to him, makes him feel obligated to deal with his mom, like really help her his mom get ahead. And again, relatable content. I'll leave it at that. And then Ray did his big one, giving his son the paperwork sign. Uh, I actually like Ray in this moment. You know, Ray has been a piece of dirt the whole movie, but this moment I appreciate it because even though he's high, he's on that stuff. In between the high, there's this resignation in his heart that understands like this is the right thing to do. And even though his wife was eyeing him like an eagle, he had already signed the papers and said, "Look, we're gonna hug, and I'm gonna give you these papers." And I respected that, man. Like Ray had a certain understanding that may necessarily not should have been there because he was on drugs. But he still had to understand that like the best thing I ever did was to be out of your life. The best thing I ever did was sign these papers because I ruined her life, not letting her get to the interview. Not Ray is an interesting character to
Mm-hmm.
say the least. That's all I want to say overall. Ray is just a very interesting character that you shouldn't feel for, but you feel for. So, anything else y'all want to add to the Bev and Jason slash Ray storyline?
So I want to just add about just Jason as a character and how, because I talk a lot about my mom because me and my mommy are tight like this. And because, she's always been my movie buddy. We've always been so in this space, it just always comes back to my mom because she's the one who really introduced me to a lot of the films that I love and got me into film, whatnot. But I
What did your
also
mama say?
have one of the dopest fathers ever to do this thing. Me and my dad,
Mm,
I like this too.
talk your talk.
Shout out to amazing Black fathers. My daddy do his big one every
That's a,
day, doing
that's all
it
right. We got
since
Father's Day coming up.
1990,
Don't even worry about it.
you know.
We gonna have our time. You know what I mean?
But but back to Jason. So where I get like the complicated feelings come up because I feel like because this movie is based off of someone's real life, there's no one writing a perfect character. Everybody is complex because they're real people. Like Ray, even though he was a terrible husband, he was a drug addict, he was a real person. I've known people like him who, you want to say it would be so easy to get clean, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not easy. I've seen people struggle with that,
Yeah, it's real. It's real. It's really real.
That's not something you can like you have to it takes a lot. And maybe back then, a lot of people didn't have some of the resources that they have now to get clean. And maybe that, yeah, the best thing he could have done was go away. And unfortunately, that, he wasn't able to get himself clean. And so when you say that you like Ray in that moment, there's nothing wrong with that. He was a person who did
Mm-hmm.
the best that he could,
Yeah, yeah,
ended up doing something meaningful for her, doing what he could do to rectify it in the only way that he knew how. And he was never malicious. His intent was never bad. He never had bad intentions. And even though, the road to hell is paved with good intentions,
yeah.
it doesn't matter if the impact, is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we can look at Ray and see that he never wanted to hurt Bev. He never wanted to hurt Jason. He
Nah,
loved them
not at
both
all.
and
Not
he
at all.
really loved his son, but he just couldn't get himself together. And that was his complex character, and that's what we can take from him. But then when we look at Jason and what me and Ash were talking about with that last conversation that Ray had with Jason as a kid, it kind of set the tone for his relationship with his mother. She would always have to take on the resentment and bear the brunt of all of his feelings and all of her shortcomings because she was the one who was there. The parent who stays is always going to be the parent that gets the venom. You hurt the people closest to you, and Jason didn't realize the hardships that his mother was going through because and I oh, another thing that's interesting to me, I'm glad to see that. I feel like we talk about this a lot in the Black community about single mothers and men who were raised by single mothers and have like how they view women and mothers because of the how hard their single mothers had to be when raising them, and seeing it from this lens from a white woman who had to raise a son as a single mother, and she wasn't sweet and she wasn't always loving. She did the best she could, and when he grew up he still saw her like, you weren't a good mother to me. And it was like she was like, listen,
uh,
look at you. You're the most normal person I know. And she did her best to make him that person, but he still resented her for all the things that she couldn't give him. And I feel like,
that's ignorant.
it's complicated and it's complex because his feelings are valid too. You can't tell somebody how to feel about their
Right.
experience, but
You're right.
also
You're absolutely right.
being
You
a
can't tell
mother,
nobody how to feel.
being a woman, there is so much grace that I gave my mother for my upbringing. Once I was old enough to understand my mom is my mom, but she's a human being and
You
she is
you
a
don't
woman.
know what you don't know.
Exactly. But when you do,
That's what my issue is with dude. Like you don't know what you don't know. So you putting this extra penalty on your energy towards them because you the lack thereof. It's like they don't know what they don't know. They didn't see this, and you're expecting them to perform a miracle to bless your life, and then you're mad at them because they don't have it because they didn't get it. It's ignorant. Like you gotta grow up some. Like little dude, like you gotta really grow up. Like that's how I feel. Don't get me wrong. There's some things I didn't get from my father. There's some things that I didn't get from my mother. But you gotta have grace because you don't know what you don't know. And then it's same thing. We all are parents. There's gonna be as much as we can exhaust our kids. There's still gonna be something that's like, oh, you didn't give me that, mama. I never learned that, mama. Where'd that come from, mama? When I grew up, I didn't, and it's like, baby, I didn't know. I didn't know. I don't know what I don't know. I didn't. That ain't how I grew up, so I don't have it to give it to you. We gonna. Oh, daddy. Oh, I don't know, daddy. You never told me that, daddy. Like, sorry, son. Sorry, baby. I didn't know. And that requires grace, but that love that you have for your parent, it's a deeper rabbit hole. I don't want to prolong it, but anyway, go back to what you were saying, Miji.
no, that was really it. It was just like it's complicated because even the scene where he snitches on Bev and tells his grandpa
Mm-hmm.
that they're in the house drying weed, and you in that moment, I was just so angry.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, why would you do that? Like, why are you like, I get you're angry, you have to be outside while they're in there doing that, but he didn't have any understanding. And I guess because he was a kid, you can't expect him to have understanding
Mm-hmm.
of what's at stake. But it was like another disappointment for Bev where she thought she had a plan to make their lives better. And once again, she was thwarted by, it was Ray twice in the past, and then now it's Jason who, got in the way of her plan to make their lives better, and then also got Face in the way. And it's like, as you see him get older, he's looking at her book, which is just her story. He's looking at it as a book about how he ruined her life, when it really was just a book about her life and what happened and how it affected her. And it's just that is the complexity of motherhood right there. That is it in a nutshell. As a person who has children, your story is no longer just your story because now your kids are going to look at your story and it's going to be about how your decisions, how they were affected by everything and what it means in relation to you as their mother. And I just wish, and I give him grace because he was young. He was still like a junior, I mean, a sophomore in college going on junior. So, he
Sophomore in
was
college.
he was still young.
Yeah.
Frontal lobe wasn't fully developed.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Fair enough.
he may not have been at the point yet where he looked at his mother as a fully realized human being. To him, she was still just his mother.
That's my.
And I think once you get to the point where you look at your parents as fully realized human beings and not just your parent, people who have their own thoughts and feelings outside of you and what that means in relation to you, you will have a completely different outlook on them and your relationship with them
Hmm.
and the decisions that they've made.
Yeah. Fair enough. You make a great point, Meiji. All right, we're about to get into the character that we relate to or identify with the most. Is there any final? Well, I guess I asked that at
I
the
got
bottom.
one little thing.
Yeah, go for it.
That last scene when she's in the car with her dad and they start singing that song that they sang at the beginning, it always breaks me down.
It
I
breaks you
always
down
shed
like
a
what?
little tear at the end.
A tear?
When Bev is in the car with her dad, and it's kind of like just like this full, like it was her waiting to exhale moment. Like her son is off, he's going on to be his own man. She's got her paper signed. He can finally just, melt back into this childhood that she lost in this moment where her father just going back to being a little girl and having that peace and that moment with her dad that she had when she was a kid and she lost for so long because of, life circumstances. And it's just like seeing her just kind of melt into her dad's shoulder. It's just like, it's a sad, but also cathartic moment where it's like, wow.
He was kind of. I mean, she asked him a question, and he pretty much like glossed over it. Like I thought it was a question about like something along the lines of you like being a hoe. He kind of glossed over it. Like so,
What you mean?
I can't remember what it was, but she's like, can you believe this such and such? I, I
He
can't remember.
said Jason blames me for all of the bad things that have happened in his life. Can you imagine?
Okay,
And
yeah,
he didn't say
okay,
it.
you nailed it. And so he just pretty much like glossed over that, like in the
I think
sense
that was
that
intentional.
yeah, because like yeah, it is your fault.
I think he, as a parent, he just kind of was like looking at her like, imagine that. Because, as a parent, again,
So
full circle, we blame our parents, our kids blame us, and it's kind of like he's looking at her like,
kettle
yeah,
calling the pot.
yeah, like,
Oh, like on some like you looked at us like we were the worst, but now look at you.
yeah, it's kind of like he wasn't judging her for it. It was just kind of like, yeah, baby, yeah, I know.
He just kind of left like that's funny.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Mm.
Just letting her vent and not just knowing that, yeah, okay, girl, you'll be
Yeah,
fine.
this movie's execution, bro.
Bro said,
Drew Barrymore is
bro,
just she wasn't the right pick for this movie, bro. I'm
That's
sorry.
interesting.
She just wasn't the
bro
right pick.
said,
Like I
Who do
don't
you think
believe
would have
it.
been better? Like, if you could pick another actress, do you have a somebody would be
Let me
better?
see. Let me really think about this. So because the Italian aspect has to play into it as well. This came out in 2001.
What about Alyssa Milano?
Where's she from? Alyssa Milano.
Have you ever watched Charmed?
No, but I'm familiar with the show because one of the actresses was from 90210. Alyssa Milano. Okay, here she is. Okay,
bro said,
yeah.
her alluding to him alluding to her being a hoe. It's crazy.
I
That's
mean,
not what.
it's been throughout the movie. It's like at this moment, like, what do you want me to do?
Ugh.
Alyssa Milano might be a good pick. Mia, you might nail that. Like, that's a good. She could be a good fit. Yeah, I could see that. Or even Shannon Doherty, which was also from Charmed, which is from 90210. But like,
Well, I'm not really a Drew Barrymore fan like that anyway.
she,
I'm a, I mean, she was in Charlie's Angels. I'm a Charlie Angel fan, but I've never
yeah,
really been a fan of Drew
she,
before.
she she's mid again.
I really love Drew Barrymore.
There's not nothing that I've loved her in.
She's in one of my favorite rom-coms,
What was it?
Never Been Kissed.
Yeah, that's a perfect fit. Uh, she's mid again. Like it's never been
I
anything
like
that,
that movie.
huh?
I do like that movie, but
No, I'm not saying she'll make no good movies. I'm not saying she can't act. It's just she's. It's like certain characters me and Ash have had conversation about certain leads. We're like, you just not a lead. You're a great supporting.
Or
And
Ensemble.
yeah, like Drew Barrymore is like the lead. I just don't believe it. Like I don't know. I just don't. It's something about her that I just don't believe. I don't see the sex appeal. Like I just don't see it.
it's an interesting look for sure.
Yeah, like she has the character. She has personality where I can say, okay, we build towards it. And it's like, okay, you've become attractive over a span of time. But like you just being the lead, like you that chick, like nah, you can never sell me on that. Um, but okay. Ash, character you relate to or identify with the most?
I landed on older Jason. Um,
Mm,
just, I mean, again, this is kind of a running relation for me in certain movies that we keep
yeah,
watching
it's
and
a consistent.
reviewing
If
with,
people pay attention, they'll find out
yeah,
pieces about who you are.
yeah. Just the pressure of, again, trying to live your own life and feeling a certain responsibility to make sure your parents are straight. Um, yeah, like that conversation on the dock, like I said, that really, because at first I didn't know who I was gonna put I related to, but in that moment I was like, up, there it is, because he said something like, if I can't move away, because if I do, then if something happens to you, then it's my fault. So like that whole scene, that whole moment, I'm like, boy, yeah. So I relate to older Jason for sure.
Mia G.
Um, I had to say Beverly. And really just like not in all aspects, but because, I wasn't a teenage mother, I was very grown when I had my kids, and they have a very active and present father. Shout out to him.
Good for them.
Um,
Good for them.
and but there have been times in my life, just like Beverly, where how she looked at her friend Tina, who we didn't talk much about, but it was the other friend of hers who didn't get pregnant, who ended up going to NYU, the school she wanted to go to, and who was going to prom while her and Faye were walking around eating ice cream with their big pregnant bellies. And I have had times where I felt like I've seen friends doing things that I really wanted to do, and I felt behind the curve, or like I've been derailed at certain moments and set behind. And I know that feeling of like feeling, you know, stuck in your circumstances, and seeing people surpass you and feeling, that feeling of FOMO, like you're missing something.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, you know, I relate to just the feeling that motherhood isn't always easy or pretty. Like I feel
Facts.
like, we all want to be the Susie homemaker
Yeah,
and
the ideal.
be the ideal mom, and you want to think that you're the perfect mother, but sometimes we
Yeah,
fall short, and
absolutely.
sometimes we don't like it. And you like, oh my goodness, I have to wake up every day and I got to make it happen for these kids. Sometimes you feel underappreciated, and sometimes, you know, you miss you go to bed wishing you would have been more patient or more present. And but when it's really like there were so many moments that we didn't talk about where Beverly was really um tender and kind with Jason, like when Ray was going through withdrawals and she turned on his favorite song, Cincinnati Dancing Pig, and she danced and she laid in the bed with him, or when it was his birthday and she wrote him a note. And there were so many moments that you always feel like those moments get lost in the shuffle when you're really going through. And so
Yeah.
I just relate to the idea of not being a perfect mother, but we do the best we can.
That's why I
And
thought you picked the movie. Like
yeah,
it line. That's why when you're saying that, it lined up perfectly. I said, oh, okay, because there's always a little bit of this dark twist that it makes sense. So when I watched it, I was like, oh, okay, this makes perfect sense. Um, for me, the character I relate to, or identify with the most, is Mr. Donofrio, which is her father. It, I haven't been through this scenario as far as like my daughter going through and being fast or being ready to get busy or wanting a brawl of a certain ilk. I ain't been through that, but it's like the disappointment, the challenge of it's like, bro, I tried to do my best to make our household to be a certain way, and you kicked all the way against the grain, and it really hurt him. Not to say that that's like some foreshadowing for our household, but I felt where he was coming from. I was like, damn, that's rough. So yeah, Mr. Donofrio, her father. Get the stepping character you could do without Ash.
Oh, I have two. I have Lizard. I mean, he didn't really add anything to the movie. I mean, he just was kind of terrible friend, just one of the bums out there. But and I had Tina because I mean, you was the friend in the beginning, and then of course you didn't stick around. I mean, she's doing her own thing, but it was just kind of like every time you're popping up, you're just a reminder of where I'm not at. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to prom. I'm going to NYU. You know that one big school in New York, and it's just like I felt like they was just putting her in there to keep reminding me that hey, you're not going any freaking where. You know what I'm saying? Like you got Jason. So all that is wraps for now. So yeah, I got them too.
Fair enough. Me and G.
I didn't have anybody here.
I got Tina. She was the third in the trio, and she didn't add anything to the story. If she wasn't in the movie, nothing would change.
I think that was the point. She was the one who didn't get pregnant, who got to who got to remind Beverly of what her life would have been like if she didn't get pregnant.
But the execution, this is why we what you're I get what they were trying to accomplish. I was like, okay, but they didn't execute. If you're gonna bring Tina as
Yeah.
the third
Yeah.
member, like, oh,
Right.
she gonna be who you supposed to be. They just didn't execute it. It was on they were trying to be subtle, and it's with her character, and it's not a character that you needed to be subtle with if you're trying to drive a point home. And that's my issue. Um,
I could see that.
so I like Tina. I definitely like her, but like since y'all went this direction, you could have did without her because it wouldn't have changed anything. Um, favorite
Shout
song in
out
the
to Jackie.
yeah, shout out to Roseanne. Uh, shout out to the counters. Um, favorite song in the movie. This is not that type of movie, so we don't have songs nor toys. Things you would change about the
I do
movie.
like the song that her and her dad be singing in the car, Dream.
Oh, that's what you got. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Things you would change about the movie or what they didn't get right. Ash.
Yeah. So I think the movie was too long. 2 hours and 11 minutes is nuts. To get across what they were trying to get across, pretty much like the struggling mother. Like I feel like that was pretty evident pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it was too long. I also feel like they stayed in the young Jason phase too long. Like I didn't feel like they were showing the progression enough to like every time they were doing the from them being older to back to where they were growing up. It's just like he was
Flashback,
always a
flash forward.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like it was just the phases of Jason was just it was too he was too young for too long to me. It would have been nice to see him before he got to the college phase. You know what I'm saying? And more of that. And then I didn't like how we didn't get to see the journey of Beverly to her success, be able to write that book or whatever, that memoir, because it was kind of like, okay, in the beginning, we see that she's grown, she has she's trying to get published, but we didn't see that in the movie. Like, we just saw her constantly hitting those roadblocks, and then she shows up to Ray's trailer to get but we didn't get to enjoy that, that triumph like of doing all of this to get to where you dream to be. Like I would have liked to had seen more of that actually happening instead of just kind of like boom, she's about to get published. You know what I mean? I would want to had seen more of that.
No, I feel you.
So that's all I had.
Mig G.
So similarly, I said that I would have liked to have seen maybe teenage Jason, or like the moment when they moved to New York, when they actually did get to move to New York together, him going to NYU and her going to work for a publishing company and writing her book. Like, because I do feel like we make the jump from seeing her go through it with young Jason straight to, him being grown. She's already got a publisher for her book. He's in college where she wanted to go, and we didn't really see how they made it from that struggling mom and son to the point where now he's able to go to NYU where she's pushed, I want to see, like, did he do really great in school, get a scholarship? Like, did you, you know, did he rebel at all, or was he always just a good kid doing what you wanted him to do? How did you guys get to New York?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Because you always wanted to
Why did
move
you
to
move to
New
New
York. You
York?
talked about it a lot, but you didn't, we know you got there eventually, but I wanted to see like you
Yes.
making it to New York, getting there, and what that was like, finally,
Hmm.
Hmm.
you know.
Fair enough. I like that. A few things. Bev was fast, and we got no explanation how she got that way.
There is no explanation. Some girls just be liking boys.
Nah, not nah. That ain't good enough. We in film, like nah, we in film. Like in general, a friend, a buddy, whatever. Oh, okay, you just like okay, cool. But we in film. You context is king. That ain't good enough. Like, yeah, I gotta give us this. Cause we don't understand. She in a 2-parent household. We don't understand how she got there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Another conversation for another day.
Okay. I'm not saying that you're gonna be perfect. I'm not saying you ain't gonna get busy and you got desires, but I'm saying just give us a little seed or nugget or Easter egg on how you got there. We didn't get none of that. We got her trying to teach her friend about boobs, her wanting a bra for boobs, her getting busy and getting pregnant at 15. We never got how she got there. Give us that. That's it. Also, the fake pregnant stomachs, they look mad fake. They could do a better job on that. And lastly, them showing the baby boy's genitalia is super unnecessary. We didn't need that at all. I get it,
I
it's
agree.
2001, but it's like we don't really need that. You niggas is weirdos. I'm sorry, excuse my language. Y'all weirdos. We don't need to see the baby's genitalia in a movie like this. It's not a deep movie. It's not an explicit movie. Uncut movie. We don't need to see that. it felt weird when y'all exposing this baby, whoever it is. Like it just felt like, why did y'all do that? So for me, those are the
Forgot about that part too.
yeah, it was just like, bro,
I did think that was distasteful.
why?
It wasn't necessary.
It wasn't, but it's like that's how you know weirdos were a part of the film, just like Nickelodeon and all of those. Y'all be some weirdos, man.
No, it
So
wasn't necessary. It never really occurred to me like, oh, because it's a baby, but I they didn't need to show it explicitly.
no, it's like
She could have
So you
just
think
opened the diaper and
boy,
cried and said,
it's
"It's
a
a
boy.
boy," and we would have gotten.
yeah, it's like it's not a raw movie, bro. Like we're not doing some indie film that's raw. Like you're doing
I
extra for
don't
no.
mean. I don't think they meant it to be like sexualized, like explicit. It's just like showing that, oh yeah, it's a baby boy, but we didn't need to see it.
We got two scenes
Mm.
though. We got two scenes of this.
Oh, when he didn't have his diaper on, when he
Bro, it's like if we got one, they're like, oh, we didn't need it. We got two of them. You people are weirdos. All right. Anyway, um, more of the story. Ash Bash.
The moral of the story to me is about resilience. Um, Life often doesn't go the way we plan, but that doesn't mean that it goes without value.
Mm,
So that's what I
okay.
got.
Mia G. More of the story.
I think you probably can guess what my moral will be, but
Do the best we can.
your mother is a person outside of just being your mother. You know, give yourself grace as a mother because it's not easy. And, your mom, your parents just do the best they can. Nobody's given a guidebook to this.
That's right.
So just look at your parents, give them grace, realize that they're human beings before they're your parents. They're people.
Yeah, people. That's right. For me, more of the story. Wear a condom.
that
That's it. I got nothing else.
that would have saved us a whole movie and a whole
Safe sex. Put a condom on. Like I ain't got nothing else to add to that. Wrap it up, B. Like you um, yeah. No deep explanation on that. But that is our episode. But before we get out of here, we switched the rotation a little bit. Normally Ash is next, but we've had conversation. And so I'm going to be next. We've been talking about kind of shuffling our order here. And, I look forward to Mia G being last so she can kind of feed off the energy of whatever Ash has or whatever I have and see what she flips the, narrative. And maybe that'd be next month. But we kind of did a little bit of an exchange here. So Ash doesn't know, Mia G doesn't know, but we're still in our Mother May I month. So with that being said, my movie that we're going to be reviewing for the next episode is the 1995 film Losing Isaiah.
Wow.
I
yes.
I had a close number two, but I'm not going to reveal it because it may fit another category. So, Losing Isaiah with the lead of Halle Berry. I never seen this film before, so this is fun in it. Oh yes, I seen the trailer and I said, you know what, this may be worth reviewing because the trailer sold me so. Me is so silly. This trailer might have sold me so well. I said, yo, I'm ready to get busy. I can't wait to see what this is about. So this is a film I never seen before, but I thought in this Mother May I month, it felt really great to the theme. Now, when we get to the end of this month and maybe we'll get to TGIF, I will reveal the honorable mentions of what I almost went with, but we'll get there.
I
So,
have some too.
okay, yeah, and I would love to hear Mia G's as well as Ashes. So, yeah, but in the meantime, in between time, y'all go check out Losing Isaiah, so that when y'all be prepared for our review.
Ash, have
Uh,
you seen it before?
I have.
Okay,
I
good.
have.
you seen it
Mhm.
too, Mia? Okay, so I'm the only one on my. All right. But yeah, that's our episode, man. We thank y'all for tuning in. Truly, y'all want to reach out, childishgrownups3@gmail.com. Reach out to us, childishgrownups, on Instagram as well as our YouTube. We appreciate y'all, man. Y'all get into the Discord, get connected with us. Um, don't be shy. Don't be scared. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. The stupid kids, the lights is on. We gotta get back to the crib. Mia gotta get back to the home. Ash gotta be back to the crib. I gotta get back to the crib. So we appreciate y'all. Peace out.